Hi, hello. We have new chapters of Weekly Shonen Jump for you today, starting with the latest of Akane-Banashi, chapter 17. Here we start off with a flashback, and I'm really excited to see this because we ended up not really seeing too much of her preparing for this little tournament. I shouldn't say little tournament. This is a big deal tournament. But I thought, this would have like kind of a major preparation arc into the actual competition arc. But I like this even better. The flash forward, flash back, we're kind of skipping around to the actual final revelation that makes her Jugemu more powerful than anyone else's Rakugo. So here she's conferring in the library. Should probably be practicing your speed technique, not reading. That's what you'd think, right? But I realized something important recently. The key to Jugemo. And here we can see already, knowing the language of manga in the bottom left, that's all we're going to get from this flashback. But that she does know the key, and the key is not just saying the name really, really fast. And this is also hinted at, of course, by her senpai. You're treating it like it's a bunch of sounds. You have to treat it like it's words. It isn't to speak really, really fast. Okay, so now we're back in the present. She's on stage. She's performing. She's already been hyped up by being singled out by the guest judge of the competition. In the past, when parents had a baby, they would go to knowledgeable elders or monks at a temple for advice on naming that child. In fact, it's almost surprising how common this was. No nervousness. Probably a lot of people are confused that she's doing Jugemu. As they discussed, this is like a very routine, old school Rakugo story that almost everyone picks as one of their first ones that they're going to learn how to perform. So for her to be doing this at a Rakugo competition where everyone in the audience already knows a lot about Rakugo, cares a lot about Rakugo, and might be Rakugoka themselves, is pretty crazy, right? And the added confusion of this being the girl singled out by the judge. This hall's a capacity of 600 people. Nearly 400 in here now. That's way more people than at the Rakugo Cafe. I like it. I like this little moment where he's just like, yeah, she was the real deal. Perhaps because of his extremely long name, he grew into the rambunctious little brat. He'd get into fights with other children and make them cry. They would run home to tell their parents about what he'd done. Woo! No comparison between her and the other students. She's leagues above everyone else in her generation. Oh, she's blowing him away! Someone in the comments, I can't remember if it was the comments on my video or the comments I read on the chapter itself on Shonen Jump, but does she have like a really common last name? Her family name? Is there no one that suspects that maybe she's the daughter of one of the expelled students who, all of these Rakugo students, I'm sure, have heard all of those names before? I don't know. But they're still shocked. They're blown away. Look at the people in the audience. They're vexed. They're gripped with anticipation. This is an odd shot here. Oh, it's of the TV screen that some people are watching on. It was your boy, Jugemu. I finally turned Jugemu into words. You didn't sound like Kokon. Right in the head. Give me this big lump. Okay. Are you saying that my son... So this is just it, right? You have to have different characters going through this whole 30-second plus name. And you have to make it like fresh and entertaining every time. How is she going to change the pivotal phrase from one person saying it to another? Ooh. Alright, should we try saying it again? Just for old time's sake. Jugemu Goko no Suri Kirizu Kajiri Sugyo no Sugyo Matsu Ungyo Matsu Furimatsu Kuneru Kokoro ni Sumu Tokoro Yaburakuji no Burakuji Paipo no Shuringan no Gurindai no Ponpoko Pi no Ponpoko Na no Chokyome no Chosuke would do that? Oh, it's so much fun. I think that one went pretty good, and I tried to get some like oomph into it. I tried to actually like characterize it, that it didn't feel like I was just reading it. Although, of course, I am just reading it. I do not have this memorized. It's fun though. It's fun though. I think I could get into some sort of form of rakugo. As a performer, it's something that I like reading stories. I like trying to present narratives, the tension of it. Try to emphasize, where the revelations are, where the twists are, what's funny, the tone of it. It seems like a lot of fun. My memory is crap though. I'm very good at remembering like the gist of stories. I can tell you, the plot summary of like tons of movies I've seen, but I'm very bad at remembering like specific dialogue, specific sequences of words. Something like this would be a huge pain in the butt for me to memorize. I guess I should say my memory is good, but my memorization skills are weak. Anyways, so fast. It was sharper than we showed it off back at the park, but still safe word recitation. She totally ignored any sense of advice. People are reacting well. They're impressed with her speed. Now, could it be that right now she's just flexing her technical skills to make it through the prelims? Because, after the prelims, you have to perform again. So maybe she's saving something in the tank. I don't know. She's limiting her... Aha! See? I can pick up on these things. No. I think this is really interesting. So here she's just flexing. And I think she's smart in knowing that this will be enough to get her through the prelims. I'm going to try to say it really fast. Jugemo, Joe. I screwed up instantly. I said Joe instead of go. Jugemo, Goko no Suri Kizu. The beginning is the hardest part. The ending, when it gets more patterned, and it gets a little simpler in the syllables. Jugemo, Goko no Suri Kirizu, Kaijiri, Sugyo no Sugyo Matsu, Ungyo Matsu, Furimatsu, Kyunera, Tokoro no Sumu Kukoro, Yabu Rakuji no Buru Rakuji, Paipo no Shurigan no Gurindai no Ponpoko Pi no Ponpoko Na no Chokyume no Chosuke. Almost. I'm getting better. The important thing is getting better. You shouldn't aim for protection, you should aim for improvement. She did it even faster. And reduced the number of breaths. Ooh, that's cool. So not only did she speed up, she made a major quantitative change that even if you can't recognize that it's sped up, you can recognize that there was one less break in the flow. This is awesome. This is so shonen-y. Somehow in the end, even though this is such like an art form, even though this is so far removed from like battling, they turn this into like a sports manga. That it's all about, these very clearly defined like breakthroughing of obstacles, leveling up. If you want a good tempo, a single breath is ideal. But to do all that for just this one long line. Look at this, the way she's raring up. You've seen this in like every sports manga. It kicks ass. Set that up for today's preliminary round. What, my son? When using nothing but my straight right punch. That phrase. And here we see it in the distance. Embedded in the wall. I was worried. They actually created the exact sort of tension you get in sports manga. Where, they're like, I gotta just push through and smack the ball harder than I ever have before. I don't know what sport that is, volleyball. And there's that tension of like, oh my gosh, will they really be able to do it? Or are they setting up, no, you flew too close to the sun, you weren't ready for this disaster, right? Because those two, the triumph and the setback are so well established in the genre that they can really create a lot of tension of which one's going to happen. Thinking about it realistically, there's no way that Akane is going to lose in the preliminaries at this stage of the story. Like, it just doesn't make narrative sense. But just through the storytelling and everything, they're able to create that tension still. just through choices in paneling and the depiction of the character and stuff. It's phenomenal. Wasn't that girl amazing? She was really, really good, like pro level good. The teacher is so into it now. She was taking pictures and everything. Seen her doing jump rope exercises recently. Increase her lung capacity. Oh, she's so wiped out. Removing her hair tie. Sweating. Whew. It's tough. She's super good. Oh, sure, but the thing is, a mega talented singer gets in there and sings a King's song like the other day amid a bear. Short, she's playing. And nobody is copying Ancient Rakugo stories. Stands a chance against me. But they don't realize that this is the two-stage approach. Next stage, the thrusters will launch off like the rocket. That's what I'm trying to imagine. The rocket that discards part of itself and thrusts off even faster after it leaves the atmosphere and the gravitational well of Earth. That's what she's going to be doing on day 2. Oh boy. So far, everyone's been pretty cordial, pretty competitive. Nobody's been really nasty to anybody. Nobody's been underhanded, for sure. But this last panel on this page, the shadowy eye, I don't know. They're setting up these two rivals in this arc to maybe be a little more sinister than we've seen so far. Or maybe, nah, okay. Oof. I'm actually relieved. I'd like this to be nice, clean competition where they're not trying to undercut each other's confidence or whatever. But just being confident in themselves. From fun, absolutely nothing. Pretty and talented, the attention of Kaisai Arakawa. Nameless high school girl, younger than me. Who my competition has to be. To outdo her in every possible category. Minimum required for me to be the star of the Karaku Cup. Kane, Karashinari Maya, Hikaru Koragi. Of course! That's why they showed us to them before. And I think a showdown between these three, that's more than enough to have a lot of good tension, a lot of good characterization, a lot of good banter and interaction. But I think the series is prime, so prime for one of those arcs where it's like a tournament where they establish like 12 characters and you really feel like any of them could win. And there's all these different dynamics of like, oh, but they're a dark horse, and oh, but you know, they're so favored, and yet you can tell their confidence is wavering, and you can just go in so many different directions simultaneously. I love that feeling. And I think the sort of tone and the competition of Rakugo is so well suited to it. But this is just your warm-up. This is just, you know, between these three. Students have too much confidence. Finals are gonna get hairy. Alright. The finals. Now we get to see the evolution of Jugamu. I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited. I can't wait to see what it means that she thought about it as words instead of just sounds, I guess. It'd be cool if there's like a history lesson too. We've been talking in the comments, me and 4 clubs, about is there any like kind of proper English equivalent of Jugyamu as a name? So I'd like, you know, even more history lessons and stuff. I'd like to see what those sort of things she was researching were. And I think we're going to see that. Like, I think we're going to have this continued back and forth between flashbacks to her training and her performance now, which is just great. Okay, let's look forward to next week. Bye-bye.